To another NFL DFS video. My name is Polzin with 9 to 5 Sports. Going to be breaking down this Thursday night showdown between the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. This actually could be an interesting game. The Patriots have been playing better as of recently. Kind of got screwed out of a touchdown with Hunter Henry last week. And then you got the Buffalo Bills, who have kind of been slipping a little bit. So this could be a little bit closer of a game than I think a lot of people might realize. So it's going to be a fun Thursday night football game to watch. We'll just put it that way. So before we get into the coverage, just want to make sure you guys remember, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers before the new year. Basically on pace to do that, but the only way I can get there is with your guys' help. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure to give a like and subscribe. That helps me be able to help you guys. All right, let's get into it right now. All right, so I do want to start off with the New England Patriots because that is where we could potentially get the most value. If Jacoby Myers sits, and he's limited, and I do think he's going to play, just how much will he play? That is some stuff that we got to wait and see on, but I do think that Nelson Agholor would be a tremendous play. The issue with that is DraftKings also sees it that way. They saw what we saw. And it might just be because he had a good game last week against Minnesota, but he has had some eye-popping plays this season, okay? You could argue he's one of their best playmakers. If this game is a blowout, or maybe they're trailing, he's definitely going to be on the field more. Kind of just randomly was not playing a lot in the middle of the season. Played in almost 80% of the snaps last week, 78% of the snaps last week with Jacoby Myers banged up, only playing 16% of the snaps. So if Myers sits, it's going to be Nelson Agholor that you're looking at. And I think you could potentially play him in the captain spot as well. I don't think many people are going to want to go that route because they're probably going to be playing a lot of Rhamondre Stevenson in the captain spot. Rhamondre Stevenson most likely going to play around 70 to maybe even 85% of the snaps with Damian Harris ruled out, okay? That's going to open up just Stevenson pretty much being a lock, a player that you need to play on this slate, okay? Just been getting targeted a ton. We can see lowest target amount over the last 5 weeks is 6 targets. Heck, if we were getting a receiver getting those many targets, that would definitely make us interested. Factor in that he's also getting some carries. That is very appealing. This is, I almost said this is Austin Eckler-esque, but Stevenson probably carrying the ball a little bit better, just doesn't have the touchdown upside. It's just shocking that he's getting this much targets, and they kind of need to force him to the target. So I don't really see that going away. The snap counts are going to be there. I think we can lock in double-digit DK points and try to hope for 20 DK points. Obviously, if he scores a touchdown, that's going to mean he gets there. The question is, can you play in the captain spot? It is kind of difficult to do, but we have seen the Buffalo Bills get beat via the running game a lot more recently, so he's a player that I'm looking at. If Jacoby Myers plays, that does make this slate much more cloudy. We got to see the injury situation. If he's going to be limited like he was last week, then that's a worry. If he plays and he's healthy and ready to go and we get news of that, yes, he's someone that you can certainly play and play a lot of, play confidently. Hunter Henry was definitely robbed of a touchdown last week. I don't care what the NFL says, but we've seen a bunch of plays that were very similar to that, and it was ruled a touchdown. Whatever. I feel like that not being ruled a touchdown, though, kept his price point low. The DK FanDuel algorithm didn't adjust for that. And I would say the pecking order for touchdowns in New England would probably be Stevenson, maybe a Mac Jones QB sneak, and then Hunter Henry. You know, you could maybe bet him an anytime TD. The thing is, they might not score. Now, they're going to score a TD most likely, but it probably won't be a higher scoring game for them. We'll see. We'll see. I do like Hunter Henry, though, as a value price point for 4.6 is a very cheap price point for him. And then last week as well, Kendrick Bourne got a decent amount of snaps as well with Jacoby Myers out. We could see Kendrick Bourne, who, as a Packers fan, I kind of wanted them to trade for him at the trade deadline, like a cheap 6th round or 7th round pick for Kendrick Bourne. I think he's a decent player, is my point. If he's going to get right around 60% of the snaps at 2.2, that's an intriguing price point. It wouldn't be shocking to see him break a big play and really hit value on one big play. So Jacoby Myers is out. We're looking at him. Then Devontae Parker. I do think Parker's priced up a little bit too much. Really had his best game of the season last week. Besides the Baltimore game, last week it was impressive. Okay, played his most snaps in a while as well. Once again, I don't know if that was by design or because Jacoby Myers was out. They are doing some strange stuff with the receiver position this whole season. At the beginning of the year, you had Devontae Parker pretty much playing 100% of the snaps, and up until week 3, didn't do anything. And then for the next few weeks, didn't really do much either. And then last week, out of nowhere, produces. So it is kind of a guessing game there at receiver. Just to recap it, Nelson Agholor, number 1 choice. Love the price point of Kendrick Bourne. Devontae Parker, probably going to be the highest owned of the receivers. Is at a cheap price point. Wouldn't be shocking to see him have a good week. Just also not something I want to chase. Now, Mac Jones, some people might be looking at and seeing, oh, he scored 26 DK points last week. That is because of the matchup with Minnesota. Okay, I mentioned him in the value plays video. No, it was Thursday night. It was the Thanksgiving video. I mentioned him as a player you could play last week because of the matchup. I don't see that happening again. I don't think he's going to have a good week. a great week. Okay, maybe get you 15 DK points. I think that's the best we can hope for with him. And then who's going to be the running back that fills in for Damian Harris? Is it going to be JJ Taylor? Is it going to be Kevin Harris? Is it going to be Perry Strong? Who is it going to be? We don't really know that. Heck, it could be Lynn Bowden as well. We don't know just yet. We'll have to see that come game day. I don't really think any of them are going to be in play, so we're not going to worry about that. And then, yes, the Patriots are going against the Buffalo Bills. We know that. They're a great team. 3.2 is a cheap price point for the Patriots defense that has been impressive thus far this season. So really, we're looking at Rhamondre Stevenson and then Aguilar, right? Aguilar sits or Jacoby Myers plays, then we're probably going to play Jacoby Myers instead of Aguilar. So getting into the Buffalo Bills side of the football, we can look at Devin Singletary, and I want to touch on this. Devin Singletary gets his toughest matchup in a while. I don't know if we can play him this week. He's been someone that, we played in week 10 and week 11, played on the Thanksgiving slate, just given the price point. Given this matchup with the Patriots, that is a very difficult matchup. He's playing, 70 to 80% of the snaps in arguably the best offense in the league, or at least at one point this season. Scored 3 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. That's appealing. Can get used in the passing game. It wouldn't be shocking to see him score a touchdown, have a decent game, because obviously he's not the focus. The focus is on stopping Josh Allen. The focus is on QB spying him and whatnot. So that could lead to some wide open lanes for Devin Singletary. And he's going to be low owned given the matchup. Like, it wouldn't be shocking to see him break the slate. Obviously, you're not counting on it. If you're playing a cash lineup, don't play Devin Singletary. You can play him a little bit in GPPs. This is where, if I'm playing him in the captain spot just to try to gain a lot of leverage on the field, because I think the potential for him to break the slate is there, but also not someone you're counting on. It is a cheap price point for him. From there, I think we can firmly play. Josh Allen looked really good last week against the Detroit Lions. Yes, that's not hard to do. I shouldn't say really good. Looked good enough against the Detroit Lions. Scored 30 DK points. Probably going to score right around 20 even against New England. Most likely going to be in the winning lineup. That is a lot to pay off for him. I'm probably not playing him in the captain spot, which could come back to hurt me, but he is tough to play. And then obviously Diggs, you can play as well. So one of the weaknesses with the Pats defense is going to be at the tight end position. It wouldn't be shocking to see Dawson Knox score around 10 DK points. Now, he is priced up a decent amount. I wish he was much cheaper. Like, if we're talking about Dawson Knox or Hunter Henry, I'm going Hunter Henry because that's a much cheaper price point. It just won't be shocking to see Dawson Knox have a good game, playing about 80% of the snaps. Just not something you're counting on given that price point. So last week, Isaiah McKenzie ended up playing about 70% of the snaps. It was clear that they saw a weakness in that Detroit defense that they wanted to exploit with Isaiah McKenzie. Prior to that, he had been playing about 40% of the snaps. And then also with that, they were getting Khalil Shakir some snaps as well. Now, he didn't get any targets, but we saw both of their snap counts be up last week, which I thought was a little bit strange. Maybe that's a trend of things to continue, going more 3 receiver sets. If it does, it's a tough price point for any of the Bills players. It's like tough to fit him in there. I probably wouldn't play him. But if he's getting 70% of the snaps, that is a cheap price point in this high-powered offense. You could, I guess. It's either you could either play Davis or McKenzie. It's tough. That's tough. I mean, but that's really it for their players. You're not really going to try to go with anyone else. Yeah, Shakir, a cheap price point. Sure, someone you could play, but not someone you're going out of your way to play. That's really a Bills D. Sure, you could play them as well. I would say we can get around 6 DK points out of them. Are they going to be in the winning GPP lineup? Probably not, unless they score a touchdown. So for our first look build, this is kind of what I think we could be looking at. Not terrible, not great. It's all right. And this is where I'm more excited as a fan because there's more unknown. Part of giving content and whatnot and knowing this stuff is kind of knowing what's supposed to happen. There is a decent amount of unknown. Like, how are these teams going to attack each other? I'm finding that difficult because they are both solid teams. The only thought process I have is that they really try to keep Josh Allen in front of them, and then maybe that opens up some lanes for Devin Singletary, and they just let their DBs kind of one-on-one, the receivers, because they want to spy Josh Allen. They want to keep him in front of him. So maybe that does mean Gabe Davis breaks the touchdown. And I don't mind that idea. It makes sense. I could go with that. I could roll with that. Obviously, this slate becomes a lot more difficult if Jacoby Myers is active, because then your lineup looks a little bit different. Maybe you'd run something out like that, or whoever is going to end up actually being the RB2 is the one you want to roll with. Now, I do think it'll be JJ Taylor. Okay. We saw him get a decent amount of snaps in the last game with Damian Harris kind of banged up. Okay, he saw about 20% of the snaps, and he is a pass catching back as well. So it'd be him. He'd be the one I would want to play in that scenario, and I think it will be him. So if you're running out this build, maybe one with Shakir and then one with Taylor, it's okay. But that's all I have for you guys for this Thursday Night Football video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Give it a like and subscribe. That helps me be able to put out more content for you guys. All right, thanks for watching. As always, let's keep cashing.